I was asked recently for my thoughts on growing in wood chips, and I thought it'd be a good time to do an update since I'm a little over a year into it now. First, I'll tell you what I've done, and then I'll tell you what I think about how it's worked out. It all started 2 years ago when we had to have a tree removed. As part of that process, they removed the stump, and when they removed the stump, they ground it down below ground level. Then they also ground a lot of the roots that were extending from the tree trunk, and they just thoroughly mixed up all those little wood chips with dirt. And that's something you don't want to do, but really didn't have a choice in that process, so we had what we had. And when I noticed all those wood chips, it gave me the idea to get more wood chips and just go with a no-dig garden. So that fall, I put about 6 to 8 inches down here of wood chips on top of those wood chips mixed with dirt. And one thing I should say is you never want to mix the wood chips with dirt, because it will tie up nitrogen. It'll just lead to a lot of problems for you, so you don't want to do that. Some of you might remember that we had a tree removed not long ago, and what you see here are the wood chips that were left over from the stump removal. And when they removed the stump, they kind of went down into the ground to get the roots, and they really thoroughly mixed the wood chips with dirt. So I just spread it all out, and I plan to expand our gardening space into that area next year, so we'll see how that goes. Down on this other end, last spring I planted everything. Then I added a couple of inches of wood chips just for mulch. If you look at this area down here, you can see that the thin layer of wood chips just for mulch, it worked pretty good during the growing season, but as the summer went on and we got into fall, we started noticing a lot of weeds coming up down here. But if you walk down this way to where the thick layer of wood chips is, you see hardly any weeds. When it comes to how our garden did, comparing the two ends, the north end with just the wood chips used as mulch, the 2-inch layer of wood chips, did great. I was really satisfied with how that worked, and I plan to add more wood chips after we plant again this year. I've got them down there. Down on this end though, where we had the real thick layer of wood chips on top of the wood chip and dirt mixture, it didn't work out too well, which is, you know, kind of predictable. When you mix the wood chips with dirt, it'll tie up the nitrogen for quite a while, so it's just going to be a little bit more difficult to grow things until the wood chips completely break down. And while I'm on the subject of wood chips breaking down, let me show you something. This pile of dirt here I took from our walking path that we have next to our home. I put wood chips on it about 5 or 6 years ago, and in that amount of time it completely broke down, and this is what we have now. So that's what will happen to wood chips if given enough time. It's really good looking soil. I plan to use that this year. And this area is what I like to call ground zero. This is almost exactly where the tree was located. And this particular row Last summer I couldn't get anything to grow here. I tried several different things, and I had some green beans that were looking pretty well for a while, but they just kind of fizzled out, and eventually I just pulled them up. But I think this area down here will do pretty good in a year or so. I'm still going to plant it, just keep track of how it's doing. This area right here next to the location where the tree was, I had okra, and it did about the best down here. But even it struggled out in the middle. It did better out on each end. And that's another thing I noticed, is out on the ends, things grew a lot better than out towards the middle. But I just wanted to give a quick update to let people know how I was going with the wood chips and what I thought about it, because somebody asked recently. And I'm making another video on where you can find wood chips for any of those people out there that are wondering where you can get them without paying for them. So as soon as I get that up, I'll post a link and you can check that out.